लिए Redmi Note Prime में क्या स्प्लिट स्क्रीन फीचर आएगा, आ भी सकता है, नहीं भी आ सकता है। MIUI 9 आएगा तो स्प्लिट स्क्रीन आना चाहिए, लेकिन अभी कुछ भी कंफर्म नहीं है। सर मेरा नाम लो प्लीज। वीडियोस बट डू एक्सप्लोर रूट एडवांटेजेस।
Good afternoon, everybody. A big warm welcome to all our Mi fans, our media colleagues, and all our partners. And a special welcome to everybody who is watching us on live stream. Thank you so much for taking our time and joining us today. Today, we are going to announce something big. Really, really, really big. 2017 has been a great year for Xiaomi India. We have had a large number of milestones, but there is one particular number that I am personally very proud of, and which is we have 500 service centers in India today. If you remember, in the beginning of this year, we had 225 service centers, and we made a promise to everybody in this room that we will double this number in 6 months. And today, we have 500 service centers. This is a 500 service center in Jayanagar, Bangalore, very elegantly, very beautifully designed. And I would like to thank our entire after-sales team, which has worked very hard over the last 6 months to make this happen. Not just the number of service centers, not only we are increasing the number of service centers, but we are also improving the quality of service. And that is something that we really pay attention to. If you look at the total number of repair requests that we get, we are able to resolve 95% of them within one single day, and 86% of them within 4 hours. We also look at IMRB data. As you know, IMRB tracks service quality of all the major brands in the country. And as per them, amongst all Xiaomi consumers who ever face a problem, 93% of them are very happy with the kind of service that Xiaomi is providing. In fact, if you look at the top 5 brands in the country, Xiaomi is rated as the most service-friendly organization in the country. In order to provide this kind of service, we have been investing a lot in our back-end infrastructure. For example, we have 3 repair factories, and we have more than 100 engineers working in these 3 factories. We have 2 big mother warehouses only for spare parts to ensure all these 500 service centers get spare parts on time. And we have more than 1,000 people working across these 2 warehouses. When people face a problem, they can, of course, walk into a service center, but they can also call us or do a live chat or reach out to us on social media. And for that, we have 2 contact centers, one in Indore and one in Bangalore. And we have 600 agents working across these 2 call centers to ensure you never face a problem. When we started our India journey, our aim was to become a benchmark in service delivery in India. And we really hope we should be able to do this in next few years. We are also investing a lot in Make in India. You guys know that we launched a second plant about 2 months back. And we have more than 5,000 people working across these 2 plants, and more than 90% of them are women. So if you look at the total number of people working for Xiaomi India today, across our factories, across our service centers, across our call centers, across our warehouses, our R&D center, and everything combined, we have been able to generate employment for about 10,000 people in the country. And this is really remarkable. From one single person 3 years back to about 10,000 people today, they are part of Xiaomi India family. And this is what is leading to output, which is sales or market share or revenue. We recently released our H1 numbers. If you look at the first 6 months of 2017 and compare it with the first 6 months of 2016, we have seen a 4x growth in our revenue, 328% to be precise. We have launched 3 phones till now, Redmi Note 4, Redmi 4A, and Redmi 4. Incidentally, all 3 phones were launched on the 23rd. 23rd of January, Redmi Note 4, more than 2.5 lakh units sold on first day. 23rd of March, Redmi 4A, again 2.5 lakh units sold. And Redmi 4, 23rd of May, again 2.5 lakh units sold. A lot of people started making this joke on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, that 23rd is a lucky day for Xiaomi. And the next phone will be launched on 23rd of July. So here we are, very close to 23rd July, launching our next device. A lot of people also ask me, why are you launching Redmi devices only? And why not Mi devices? And we made a commitment 2 months back that a lot of Mi devices are also coming to India. So very happy to share that we are launching our first Mi device of 2017. And to talk more about it, I'll call on stage Jay.
Thank you, Manu. Hey, everyone. I'm so excited that all of you guys are here today as we unveil our next big phone. So I'm sure many of you have seen people using these tablet phones. They're very popular here in India. In fact, almost every tablet that's sold in India comes with voice calling. And people use these devices as their primary phones. But holding up a tablet up to your ear is not exactly comfortable. It's not convenient, especially when you're trying to search for things while making a phone call. And lots of times, you end up using the speakerphone. Actually, all of these people are Xiaomi India employees, so thank you very much for your help. While they might be a pain to use, there are a few reasons why people like using these tablet phones. You get a big display, you typically get a big battery, and it can double as a smartphone. So we decided to create a new device category. We wanted to take the great things from these tablets and put them in a form factor that actually makes sense. Last June, we launched Mi Max. It has a big 6.44-inch display, a huge battery, and it can fit in your pocket. It's the perfect all-in-one device. We gave it the slogan, Mi Max is the new big. And Mi fans really loved it. Mi Max became the #1 best-selling device in its category by the end of 2016. And according to our own internal numbers, Mi Max has the highest customer satisfaction of any smartphone that we sold last year. So we found that once people started using Max, they fell in love with it. And we called a few of these people who've been using it for a few months to our office to hear what they had to say. Let's take a look.
There are times previously the charger was the first thing that I would always run to, and now that is not on my mind. I don't have this fear of it letting me down anywhere.
As you know, I travel, I am a cyclist, so the battery is really important to me. And with a huge battery, I don't need to carry a power bank anymore. I don't need to, carry an extra cable or anything like that. So yeah, I'm able to roam free a lot more.
With a single charge, I've been able to go on for 3 days. So before switching to Mi Max, I always carried my power bank. My phone would just last about a few hours because of the heavy use, and it didn't have a very good battery life. But nowadays, when I carry my Mi Max, the worry if I carry my power bank or not is not really a question.
I really enjoy my gaming. Just the screen is definitely an X factor.
The screen real estate is so much that it makes your life really easy. Especially if you're reading something like newspapers, you don't have to keep scrolling. And especially with the read mode on the MIUI, it's even better.
To me, the phone for me is evolving as an extension of what I really want on my laptop, but I just want it in my hand. I just find that a larger screen generally gives me a richer feel into whatever it is I'm doing.
Like, it just makes it all the more better. Like, you want to watch more and learn more, and I shop more.
So I wouldn't be able to go back to a smaller screen and use it as my daily phone? No.
It's kind of difficult. I don't think I'll be able to go back. It's too small. It's too small for me, and plus I'm addicted to it.
I'll be not able to go back to smaller phones after using such a large display.
I prefer a larger screen.
Like, I'm picky about the screen because I want a huge display. I want to see everything, not just strain my eyes and like, look, okay, this is what it's showing me.
So, as you've seen in the video, all of these people can't switch back to a smaller phone, even something like the S8 or the iPhone 7. But this was my own personal experience as well. When I first started using Max, I really didn't like it. But as any of you who've asked me in the past year what my favorite phone is, it's always been Mi Max. So today, I'm really excited to announce the next generation, Mi Max 2. It's a big display and a bigger battery. It's the biggest phone we've ever created, and we've got some great upgrades to tell you about today. First, let's start with the most noticeable feature, the big, eye-catching display. It's a showstopper. It's what everybody notices first. As you've heard from the Mi fans, after a year of using Mi Max, they can't go back to a smaller screen. And that's because the bigger display offers an amazing media experience. As Annabelle said in the video, you can learn more, do more, and even shop more. The 6.44-inch display is perfect for video. I was actually watching the Game of Thrones premiere last night on my phone. It's a great experience. In gaming, the bigger display gives you bigger touch targets, which makes you much less likely to misclick. This means that you can build out your base faster and more accurately, and it actually gives you an edge. The big display is also great for reading web pages. You can get larger fonts, and you can see more content. If you see here at the bottom of the Max, there's almost an entire paragraph that's not visible on the smaller phone. Working on a phone shouldn't be inconvenient. And with the Mi Max 2, it isn't. The bigger display here has an entire column of extra data that you wouldn't normally see. And you'd normally have to scroll around on the smaller device. Mi Max makes using spreadsheets much more comfortable. Maps also look great on the bigger display. And you can see here Map on both devices. They look kind of similar, but if we zoom in here, on the bigger display, you actually see an entire area that's not visible on the 4.7-inch display. If you were using the smaller phone, you might not know, if you didn't know Delhi, that the India gate is close by here. But on Max, you won't miss out. Today, we're also excited to announce a new feature, split screen. This is available today. It's available today in the global beta, and it lets you run 2 apps simultaneously. Let's take a look at some of the use cases. One of the best use cases is note-taking. You can multitask with multiple applications. Here, we're reading a review for the Mi Max 1 and taking notes at the same time. It's also great if you're trying to compare 2 products. For example, if you're trying to shop for Redmi Note 4 and Redmi 4, you can check out the specs, look at the different colors, and hopefully make an educated decision. It's actually pretty tough, so in split screen, this is key. Another use case is multitasking while you're messaging. It's great for making things like dinner plans. You can look up a restaurant while you're chatting with your friend in WhatsApp. And split screen is especially useful here because you can use a full web browser or app. Here we're using Google's app Aereo. Okay, next, let's talk about design. We've made a lot of improvements here. This is the first look at the Mi Max 2. It's bold. It's beautiful. Mi Max 2 has a full metal unibody for stronger and sturdier structure than its predecessor. The first thing you'll notice when you pick it up is that it's got rounded edges on all 4 sides. And since our hand normally grips the bottom part of the phone, the rounded edges help Mi Max 2 rest more comfortably in your palm. And if you look at it from the side, you can see that all 4 sides are curved, which means that when you pick it up, it feels much thinner. And actually, it's only 7.6 millimeters thick. But the curved edges make it feel thinner. And this is great because it makes it easier to hold, even though it's such a big screen. So here's a view from both sides. We really feel that it's upgrades all around when it comes to design. And this is the biggest upgrade that we've made to Mi Max 2. In India, we're launching a matte black version. Black has been the most popular version of both the Redmi 4 and the Redmi Note 4, so we decided to make a black version when we launched Mi Max 2 here. And Mi Max 2 has a smooth matte black finish. We've also added fingerprint-resistant coating so that the finish stays beautiful. You can see there in different lighting. Another upgrade are the discrete antenna lines at the top and bottom of the phone. We've replaced the plastic antenna caps that we had with the original Mi Max. And the new antenna lines, you can see tucked in here at the top, are a lot more subtle. They blend into the black finish, and you can barely see them in actual usage. This is one of my favorite things about the Mi Max 2. It looks super clean. The camera lens is also completely flush with the body, so your phone can rest completely flat on a table. And we've kept the rear fingerprint sensor for fast and easy unlocking. Mi Max 2 has 2.5D curved glass. This is one of the premium features that we talked about with Redmi Note 4. It makes the screen pop out and feel like it's closer to your fingers. And paired with the rounded edges, this gives it a smooth feel around the entire device. Your hand will not touch a straight edge when you're using Mi Max 2. I think some of you will like this. Because the glass is made with Corning Gorilla Glass 3, Mi Max 2 is also extremely scratch resistant and shatter resistant. So that's the design. It's a full metal unibody, beautiful matte black finish, discrete antenna lines, and most importantly, it has great hand feel due to the rounded edges. It looks even better in person, so we encourage all of you to check it out in the experience zone outside. For those of you who are joining us on the live stream, hopefully you can check it out in one of our offline stores near to you. We hope you like it as much as we do. Okay, my favorite section, battery. Not only is this my favorite section, this is the thing that people loved the most about the original Mi Max. And that's because the battery was huge. At the time, it was crazy big, 4,850 mAh. It was the biggest battery in a smartphone that we'd ever shipped. And the media touted it as one of the best batteries available. Android Authority said, even my heaviest usage was not enough to kill the Mi Max in a single day. Actually, this created some problems for our testing team when we wanted to figure out what the average charging time was. Because it takes so long to kill the battery, it took us almost a week to test this a few times. GSM Arena said you'd be hard-pressed to find a device that lasts longer. So how much more can we push it? We decided to look at one of our most popular products for inspiration, the Mi Power Bank. Xiaomi is a leader in power banks, and almost all power banks now follow our iconic design. But we wanted to try to fit this huge 5,000 mAh battery into one of our phones. Here's what some of the early prototypes look like. I think it could use a little bit of an upgrade on the hand feel on the bottom there. But jokes aside, fitting in a battery this big into a phone as slim as Mi Max 2 is a massive engineering feat. And Mi Max 2 comes with the biggest battery we've ever shipped. We've even managed to outdo the power bank. 5,300 mAh. It really is like a power bank battery. But if you compare it to the 5,000 mAh Mi Power Bank, it's actually 25% slimmer. So despite having a bigger battery and all the other components, it's still slimmer. And battery is something that we've been talking about for I think the last 2 years since Mi 4i. And we've been really pushing the boundaries of battery life, and that's one of the things that all the Mi fans have loved about our phones. But it's important to consider the effect that a bigger battery has on the hand feel, on the industrial design, on the weight. Bigger batteries in many phones means bulkier phones. But all of you love our phones because we have big batteries and we don't compromise on the design. So let's do some comparisons here. The Mi Max 2 battery is 9% bigger than the Mi Max 1. It's 60% bigger than the S8 Plus, and a whopping 81% bigger than the iPhone 7 Plus. But let's compare it to some of the tablet phones that we had mentioned earlier. On screen are some of the more popular ones, and if you talk to people who use these types of devices, they'll say stuff like, oh, battery life is great. But if you actually do the comparison here, you can see that Mi Max 2 has a bigger battery than all of these devices, even though it's smaller and thinner. And because it's a 6.44-inch display paired with the 16:9 aspect ratio, it can actually fit into your pocket, unlike every other device that you see here. So we did some comparisons. Here are some of the amazing numbers from Mi Max 2 when compared to what we did last year. We have over 13 hours, almost 13 and a half hours of nonstop gaming on full brightness, 3 hours more than last year. If you look at GPS navigation, it's up to 11 hours and 30 minutes. And all of these numbers, I think a lot of people think that these numbers are, maybe in a lab. All of these numbers are done for real by our amazing product testing team here. We actually had a team member who drove from our office to Humpy and back to do this. So thank you, Mano, for all this. He drove, I think, over 560 kilometers just to bring you these numbers. Yeah. Deserves it. I think it took him a full day. So we also shot a video to show you how Mi Max 2 stacks up against some of the other big devices. Let's check it out. So Mi Max 2, it was the last phone standing, and after all of those strenuous tests, it still had 54% battery left, which means that you could get an entire full day's worth of battery life. So this year, one of the most talked about phones of this year is the Nokia 3310. And there are two reasons why people like this phone so much. One is obviously nostalgia, but the other one is battery life. And people often talk longingly about the good old days of feature phone battery. So we thought, why don't we compare the Nokia 3310 to the Mi Max 2? A big display smartphone versus a feature phone. Let's see how it stacks up. So here's standby time. Both the Mi Max 2 and the Nokia 3310 have over a month, 31 days of standby time. And in our lab test, Mi Max 2 is actually connected to 4G at the time. That's over 1 month for both the feature phone and the smartphone. But what about talk time? This is one of the things that people talk about most when they talk about, the feature phone days. And the 3310 does a great job. It's almost a full day of talk time. What do you guys think about the Mi Max 2? Guesses? 57 hours. It's really remarkable. 57 hours on a smartphone. Pretty crazy. That is more than 2 times the talk time than the Nokia 3310. And it's a full-featured smartphone. So here's a recap of some of the other numbers we had. We saw 19 hours of reading, 10 days of music playback. And actually, outside, if you go outside in the experience zone, we've blown up a teardown of the phone so you can see how big the battery is, how much of the phone is actually battery. That's really a lot of the engineering work that we put into it. But obviously, the massive battery has a big role, but it's not the only thing. All of this battery life wouldn't be possible without Snapdragon 625. We first introduced this with Redmi Note 4. And we faced some criticism from the hardcore fans. A lot of people felt that Snapdragon 625 was a downgrade. So we pulled out some of these from our Facebook comments back in January. Shubham says, what a marketing strategy to sell low-performance Snapdragon 625. Vikram Singh wasn't sure if he should upgrade from the Redmi Note 3 because he thought it was a downgrade. Ayush's comment is my favorite. FinFET technology ain't mean nothing. It's just a fancy word for marketing. So since then, Redmi Note 4 has become the best-selling device in India. So I decided to message some of these guys on Facebook and see what they think about it now. So Vikram Singh, who said he wasn't sure about whether or not he should upgrade, he's actually using it now. And when I asked him why, he said it was because of the 14nm FinFET technology. Gives you great performance and doesn't heat up. What about Ayush? FinFET technology ain't mean nothing. Also using Redmi Note 4 now. And if you ask him why, he says that the battery performance of both variants are actually amazing. And most importantly, I can understand now, after using the phones, that going with the newer Snapdragon 625 was a good move. What about Shubham, who said it was just a marketing strategy to sell this low-performance processor? He's also using Redmi Note 4 now. And what does he say? He says it's working flawlessly. And he says he's taking back his word about the downgraded processor. So as a product company, sometimes you need to take these decisions that may not be well liked on paper, but they are a better product. They lead to a better product. And we're really glad that many of you found this yourselves. So once the skeptics actually started using Snapdragon 625, they realized that it wasn't a downgrade, and that is because of the 14nm FinFET technology. Because of 14nm FinFET, we're able to fit more transistors into the same space, giving you greater performance as well as better battery life. And paired with the massive 5,300 mAh battery, we've achieved reliable 2-day battery. The battery life is crazy on this thing. I can't wait for you guys to try it. So the next question is, how long does it take to charge the Mi Max 2 with such a battery? Well, Mi Max 2 comes with Quick Charge 3.0 with parallel charging. So I thought you guys would like this one too. One of the primary issues with fast charging is that although it can charge your phone faster, it can also generate more heat. So parallel charging splits the current over 2 separate circuits so that it can charge your phone quickly without heating it up. In fact, in just 1 hour, you can get 68% charge, which gives you over a full day's battery. So in 1 hour, you get 1 day of battery life. It's really remarkable. Thank you. So that's the battery. Snapdragon 625 paired with the massive 5,300 mAh battery gives you remarkable battery life. And with Quick Charge 3.0, you get 1 day's battery in just 1 hour. Okay, let's talk about the other big upgrade, camera. We have re-engineered the camera for Mi Max 2. And it all starts with the flagship Sony IMX386 sensor. This is the same camera sensor that we're using in the main camera of the Mi 6. And we specifically chose the sensor because of the large 1.25 micron pixels. So what does that mean? Because Mi Max 2 sensor is physically larger than the Mi Max, this allows individual pixels to take in 56% more light. And more light results in better sharpness with less noise in the image. If we look at some of the side-by-sides here on Mi Max and Mi Max 2, you can see that the colors are much better in low light and much less noise in the Mi Max 2 image. Here's another shot. This one is taken in good light. It captures more details, even in good light, and you can see that the text on this article is actually legible. So here are some of the other camera shots that we took with Mi Max 2. None of these have any extra lenses or anything like that. There's no post-processing done. Thought I should get that out of the way. This image here captures a bright, sunny sky with great accuracy. Another thing to note is the contrast. You can see the individual clouds here, like in this area of the image, they're still visible. You can still make out the edges, even though they're paired up against a white background. This image is taken against the sun, and still there's minimal lens flare, and also the exposure levels are balanced in this photo. The crops aren't underexposed. So I'm told that this thing here is called the bowsprit. Bowsprit is what supposedly it's called. But you can see it's in the foreground of the image. It's dark, and yet all of the details are visible. The nails, the texture, the colors. And even though that's in the foreground, the rest of the image doesn't get too exposed. This shows the work that we've put into fine-tuning our auto-exposure algorithms. We put a lot of work into our camera this year, and we think it'll keep getting better. So here's something that shows the sharpness. You can see the sharpness on the edges of the houses and the terrain up there. Also, you can see the dynamic range. The windows in the shadow are just as visible as some of the bright, snowy peaks. This is a great low light photo. It's a good illustration of our depth of field as well. You can see that parts of the railing, the cabin, and even the lamp all appear sharp here. So this next image is my favorite photo of the lot. In most phones, color saturation completely fail in low light. Colors appear faded, but here the colors remain intact, and the sharpness is there. The sharpness in this amount of lighting is really, really, really good. Usually you don't see things like this. And that's completely from the 1.25 micron pixels in the Sony IMX386 sensor. So this is all the stuff we've done with the camera. We put in a flagship-grade camera sensor, as well as things like phase detection autofocus. It's most definitely a big upgrade over Mi Max, and we think you'll really like it. Okay, let's talk about a few more other features. So Mi Max 2, I've mentioned already, has great hand feel, but we've also made a few MIUI features to make it even easier to use with one hand. We talked about this last year, one-handed mode. It lets you shrink the display to make it easier to use with one hand. You can actually change the size of this shrunk-down display to your liking. We also have a feature called Quick Ball, which lets you get quick access to 5 shortcuts or applications. I actually use this on my phone. Once you get used to it, it's really quick and easy. I use it on every phone now. But we also made a new theme for Mi Max 2. You could think of it like a supercharged Quick Ball. It allows you to have access to up to 21 customizable shortcuts directly from your lock screen. Themes are one of the great features of MIUI, and we have thousands of themes available in the theme store. But they're not just about changing the look and feel of your phone. You can see here the MIUI theme editor is so powerful that it lets you create themes like this to actually make a phone like Mi Max much more useful with one hand. So Mi Max is great for watching videos and playing games. And with Mi Max 2, we've added stereo speakers, so you can get great audio paired with your awesome display. Watching movies. Thank you. Watching movies and playing games are much more immersive than before. Mi Max 2 also has an IR blaster, like all of the phones that we've released recently. It supports thousands of models here in India. And actually, the Mi Remote app is one of the most used apps on our phones. On the software side, Mi Max 2 is running MIUI 8, and it's based on Android 7.1.1 out of the box. And of course, we'll be updating it to MIUI 9 in the coming months. Every single Mi Max 2 will be made here in India, in some of the factories that Manu had mentioned earlier. So, from watching movies to working on a spreadsheet, Mi Max 2 is designed to maximize your productivity and your entertainment experience. However, with all this movie streaming and gaming that you'll be doing, this means that you use more data than you normally would. So today we're excited to announce a special offer for Mi fans with our partner, Reliance Jio. So let me invite President Devices, Mr. Sunil Dutt at Reliance Jio.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Team Xiaomi. And many congratulations to Team Xiaomi for such a wonderful product being brought into the country. So it's very obvious that when you have a product like that, when you've got an exciting new device, which has so many capabilities that Jay just described, you do need a partnership to support it so that you're able to watch all of those exciting videos or pictures or streaming. So let me share a little bit about I don't need to introduce myself, I think I just skipped that there. Yeah, but let me just talk about Jio. So when we launched Jio a few months ago, we started off with one simple goal. It's actually very simple: move India to the next phase of digital growth. And I think with devices like Xiaomi's coming in, now Mi Max 2, it only makes it easier for people who want to experience the right kind of digital technology to be able to now experience that with these kind of devices. A little bit about Jio. A few months ago, when we started off, or before we launched, India was consuming 0.2 billion GBs of data per month. 0.2 billion. After we launched, in the few months that we've ramped up, the market has expanded about 6 times in 6 months itself. And we were doing about 3.6 million peak simultaneous videos streams every day. This number has really gone up, and so the new announcements, we'll be able to share that as well. We also cater to about 85% of India's data consumption, 85%, and almost entire video traffic is on Jio. So really, before we launched, it was 0.2 billion GBs per month. After we launched, India is now consuming 1.2 billion GBs of data per month, of which 1 billion is coming on Jio alone. So what does that do for the country? So what it does for the country, and we being the only exabyte network that carries almost 15% of the global data, what it does is it takes the country to be the largest data-consuming country in the world, ahead of South Korea, ahead of Japan, ahead of China, ahead of the US. So we are up there now in terms of data consumption. And all this in less than 12 months. We've also created a video-ready network. In fact, I dare say video will be the new voice. And in order to get the kind of immersive experience on the large Mi Max 2, Mi Max 2, I think one of the best things that device can offer is a rich video experience, a video calling experience, video like Jio TV or Jio Cinema on your devices. So if you have to experience all of that on your device, then I think this is the right partnership between the two organizations to take that experience forward to all Mi customers in the country, no matter where you are or how you are. So you can be assured of high quality streaming on your devices. More streaming or more video consumption means you need more data. You need to consume more data, you need more data. To fulfill that commitment with the Xiaomi team, we are here offering additional 100 GB additional 100 GB 4G data to anyone who buys a Mi Max 2. So you can get 10 GB with every recharge of just about 309 or above that, and all of that for Mi Max 2 customers. So once again, Team Xiaomi, many congratulations. I'm very happy to be in partnership with Xiaomi Mi Max team to be able to get this to the consumers in India. Thank you very much. All over to you, Jay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dutt. And thank you for all of our friends over at Reliance Jio for this amazing offer. So now, let's talk about price. But first, before we do, let's go through a little summary here. Mi Max 2 has a massive 6.44-inch display, paired with an insane 5,300 mAh battery. Along with the Snapdragon 625, it gives you consistent 2-day battery life. Battery life that's even better than a feature phone. And if we compare it to the original Mi Max, you can see that it's an upgrade all across the board. From the beautiful full metal unibody, to the even bigger battery, to Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0 with parallel charging that gives you up to a full day's battery life in just 1 hour, and especially the flagship Sony IMX386 camera sensor with the large 1.25 micron pixels. So Mi Max 2 will come with 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of internal storage. So what do you think the price should be? $16,999. So that's Mi Max 2. Big display, bigger battery. And with that, let me invite Manu back on stage so we can do the photo op. Can you handle this?
Thank you, Jay. Okay, do you guys remember when was Xiaomi India launch? When was the first launch event? When did we have the first sale? 15 July. So 15 July for the first launch event in India, and the first sale of a first device in India happened on 22nd of July 2014. So yes, we're almost 3-year-old company now in India. And to celebrate this, we are having a 3rd anniversary sale on 20th and 21st across both Mi.com and Mi Home. We will be announcing all our offers very soon, so just wait for a few more days. Mi Max 2 will also be available across this Mi anniversary sale across both Mi.com and Mi Home on both these dates, starting 12 p.m. 1 week from then, which is 27th of July, this will be available across all online partner platforms, Flipkart, Amazon, Tata Click, and Paytm. And this is the first device that we are co-launching at the same time between online and offline. So on the same day, which is 27th of July, this will also be available across all our offline partners, Purvika, Big C, Sangeeta, Chroma, Lot, Vijay Sales, eZone, and Reliance Digital. This will also be available across all our preferred partners. Just one last thing from our side, which is Mi Homes. We announced our first Mi Home about 2 months back, and we said we are going to open 100 Mi Homes in next 2 years. So I'm very happy to share that we're opening 2 more Mi Homes this month itself. Both of them are in Bangalore. First one is being launched on 22nd of July at 1MG Mall, and the second Mi Home is being launched on 29th of July at Orion Mall. That does not mean that Delhi is not getting a Mi Home. Just wait for some more weeks. There would be a Mi Home coming to Delhi very soon. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.